been a long time coming. Um, I am just inclined here to do a little, I guess, catching up. I haven't streamed a light stream in quite some time. And just to get that out of the way, I was moving and some other stuff. My head kind of wasn't there to do it. I've been in massive shift, massive transition, as we all have, which is what we're going to be going over today in today's live stream. Because with it being a Capricorn full moon, and I was going to do just a spread for Capricorn full moon, and then I was going to do a spread for Capricorn and Pluto. Also, this whole Saturn and Pisces journey that we're on. It's just so much happening right now that it needs addressing in a very real way. I just actually just redid my entire setup. So with you seeing this new starting screen, it's a new start for me with the whole light stream. I'm still streaming video games, but if you know where to find that, it's on Nintendo-Hime. You can go check that out. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the stars, the alignment, where we're at, where we're going, who we are today, what we're becoming, what we're trending into, and just how we exist and why that's important to understand why we exist, how we exist, and just kind of enveloping ourselves in that entire arena of existence. So just settle in, and I will be right back. I'm going to get this thing going here, and I'll be right with you all. Hello there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So yes, like I said, this is just kind of introducing the entire element of this Capricorn placement, the ruling planet placement, and just some other things that have been coming through, downloads that I've been experiencing and such. I hope you guys are doing well. This is a little pregame to the 4th of July, Independence Day. We all love it. If you're American, you love it. Even if you're not American, you love it. And just to get right into it, this Capricorn placement in Pluto. And we do have a full moon in Capricorn. And full moons are very significant, as it's the fullness, it's the waxing, it's everything coming to the climax. And we're all amped up, and the lunacy's live. You can probably see it in my eyes that the lunacy's live. Actually, let me take off my glasses for this. So when we think about Capricorn, it's a very fixed planet. It's a very fatherly energy planet, and with that energy, there's a lot of direction and discourse, and within us is a lot of ability to not listen in. And with this whole fatherly energy, it's did you do good, son? Did you do the things you needed to do, son? And even if you're a woman, did you do right by you, that father energy within you? Did you put the money away for the rainy day? Did you put your health first before your finances? Did you make sure to take care of your family at home? Today they say, quote unquote, like that king stuff. Did you handle it all with a sovereignty? That way you weren't sort of holding domain and being the taskmaster, and, well, I didn't get it done because so-and-so didn't do what they were doing, and so-and-so didn't do what they were doing, so why should I care? Do you see where I'm going with this? It's important to understand. I'm just going to pull my mic a little bit closer here so I'm not between two worlds. It's important to understand that this shift, if this Capricorn energy going into Pluto, you have to realize Pluto is the planet of death. Walking through the land of the dead, essentially, with that fatherly energy is kind of the crux of what I'm trying to get into here. And this energy is going through January of next year. So what does that mean? You're going to have a very deep uprooting of your foundations. And the way that the fatherly energy kept you safe, and not in ego, where it kind of keeps everything else at bay, but in a sense that your ascended self, are you allowing your ascended self to step in and take its course? Are you showing up for yourself? And when I first heard that notion, I thought to myself, I was like, of course, I am showing up for myself. You know, I go to work, take care of my dog, I'm a very loving partner, I have a great relationship with my family. But externally, what am I doing for me? I'm also trying to get back into the gym. I'm also, you know, handling other stuff as far as hormones. You know, there's testosterone replacement happening. There's dietary, nutritious issues that I'm implementing, you know, 25 grams of fiber a day, a lot of water a day, 8 hours plus of sleep. If you're not doing these things, then you're ignoring that father energy and you're living by the seam of your pants and you're flying off the rails. And I'm sorry, you have to bring it in. You have to rein it in. Life's a wild woman. Not that you need to rein in that wild woman, but you have to create a space for her. That life that you want to live, when you want to go out and you want to have fun. Do that. But again, reserve a space for that real self-care. And it's not going to the nail shop. It's not going down to the spa. It's not, you know, it's not any of those things that look like self-care. You know, if you haven't had a full blood panel in a while, go do that. It's time. It's time to revisit these foundational things. And that's what Capricorn's telling us. The climb, we've made it. And now look at everything that's passed. You've made it. Take care of yourself. Heal your wounds, because that battle was hard. And you're on the other side and you're looking down with the peaks and the valleys, but you're looking down right now at a valley that you've just ascended. And it was hard getting there. You need to really be with how hard it was to get where you are today. And then you need to be okay with letting it go. Because you can't sit in awe of your victories. It's one thing a really wise guy told me. You know, when you land a punch, or you finally have a win, don't sit there and be in awe and spectacle of it. Plan for the next punch. Plan for the next, you know, incline, decline. We're constantly ascending and descending. That's life. We're on a biorhythm. So, with all of this Capricorn energy in retrograde, like I said, now we're kind of taking a moment to retrospect on that ascension. And when you stop to rest, it gives a chance for old energies to come creeping back in. You know, the ones that didn't do anything to help you to get there will show up. Hey, you're doing really good for yourself, you know, or it's that energy of, why are you doing so good for yourself? You know, friends like that. Well, I haven't really been doing anything. So I don't want to say friends either, because that's even putting it a little too close. Because these energies are going to be from, if not the distant past, things that you've gone through, and they've not been around. And now that you're doing X, Y, and Z, they come to you with their hands open. Where's mine? Now, I'm a big believer in Christ, that everything that we do in life is to be not the love of Christ, because I wasn't raised on the new Bible. I don't know what they call that, like the new translation. I was raised on the King James version. So I don't want to be the love of Christ. I want to be the charity of Christ. And in my heart, there's also discernment. So I know who to give that charity to, when, and do I have the capacity to be a vessel for that charity? You see what I'm saying? There's going to be all this energy coming at you with a need. You have to be ready with that discernment. Otherwise, these energies will come and get what they can and go back to that place of lack with it. These other energies, and they could be anything. It could be anything. It's not just, don't just think past lovers, past friends. This could be old ways that you spend money. This could be old ways of bad eating. This could be, old habits of not getting enough sleep. It could be old drug habits. All of it will kind of drudge up. Or if you have any addiction issues. For me, I did spend quite a time in addiction. So it's like all of these things come drudging up now that you have this moment to rest and relax. But what are you doing with that time to rest and relax? Are you resting and relaxing? Are you running too far ahead of yourself? Because if you're not prepared and healed before that next burst to the next ascension, you're going to fall short, to just put it very bluntly and plainly. You won't be prepared, and the learning from that time that you just went through won't really ground itself. So again, this whole Pluto energy is death. It has to do with letting it die. So don't stamp on it. Don't just say it served no purpose. That's not really what it is. It's honoring the dead. We have a lot of rituals connected with the dead. So maybe it will be writing it all out. This is what I went through, and this was hard. But now I've come to the other side of it. I guess go back to the Bible, Corinthians chapter 13. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, but now that I'm a man, I put away childish things. So much there, and they call it the love chapter. But again, in the King James Version, it was the charity chapter. You are on the other side looking back at that person that you were, because time only exists on this planet, or wherever there's gravity, time exists. So do with that information what you will, because once our spirit leaves, there's no cut and dry anymore. So with saying that part of you still exists. That part of you in the past is still waiting. And so we send encouragement to ourselves in the past, in the land that has already been, the land of the dead, the land of those who came before us. Our ancestors are still trying to bridge those gaps. It's very deep, but this is why I had to get on here and really just kind of lay it all out and put it all in perspective, not just for you guys, because I know that a lot of people get a lot of good from these, but it's a lot of good for me too, to just kind of just sit here and collect my thoughts, and I'll rewatch these later and be like, oh man, what was I saying? So, just understand that this energy is going to pervade through January 20th. It's not a forever thing. It's okay. This is a moment to heal, recover, and repair, and really ready yourself. That's what a retrograde is all about. It's not a halt. It's not oh dang, the memes and everything of retrogrades are like, the popular one is Mercury retrograde. But all it means is to reflect. You just need to, there's a movie with Jet Li called Fearless. And he's this fearsome warrior, and then he ends up in this rice village. And he's busting his butt picking this rice, and he's like, I'm going to do it all. It's nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. He's sweating. And all of a sudden, a breeze comes, and everybody in the field stops and just lets the breeze pass by them. And they all just take a moment to just recover. And that's all this is from now until January. So if we're not even having a brief moment, you get a whole 3, 4, 5 months to just recover this very real journey that you've just undergone. And all these blessings and abundance, it's all here. It's all in the now. It's all living. It's all thriving. And you did that. So congratulations. Moving on. And again, this whole Capricorn thing, the ruling planet for Capricorn is Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. So what do we do with that energy? This threw me for a total loop because Saturn is fixed, it's karmic, it's get what you give, and vice versa. So put out good, so you get good. And then you hit it with Pisces energy. You throw it into the sign of Pisces, which is, constantly cycling, deeply emotional. I did not know what to do with that energy. I said, what are you telling me, universe? Like real foundations, brick and mortar, things you can touch. Deeply emotional things you can touch. I struggled with for 2 months once Saturn entered Pisces. Because I'm just I'm very stubborn, first and foremost. Not to get into my whole natal chart, 'cause that's a whole other video. I'm very stubborn, ambitious, and although I'm very loving, I don't ignore the shadow side of that. I'm very advantageous. I'm loving in an advantageous way. If that makes sense. Because when I put my energy into somebody, it's because I want to see them grow, but it also makes me feel good. So with that energy in Pisces, feeling good. And that's when I had my aha moment. It's a foundation, brick and mortar foundation, that feels good. And just to illustrate how real that energy was, once I conceived it and downloaded it, ever since discovering that, and this was probably a couple months back, whenever it initially transitioned, and threw me for that loop. Ever since then, I've been now on this journey of creating things. And that was another reason I stepped away, but now I'm creating a real brick and mortar home for myself. I have a plan of action that will get me into my first home. And I'm 37 years old, and putting that information out there, which shout out to my friend Robert for letting me know that I'm not 38. You have to create this foundation that feels good. You have to create this real world that feels good, and it has to feel good without compromise. I was taken, and I'm not even in the house yet, but it's already taken such deep root in my life that I was moved out of my apartment so that it could be renovated at no cost to me. And then I'm in a newer apartment, which this is the new apartment, but everything in here is brand new. It's taking getting used to. I have a tankless water heater, which is kind of life-changing. If you don't have one, get one. There is all of this real happening around us right now. you're in the better job, but you're in the better building with the better job, or you have better equipment, you have better surroundings, you have a better car, you have a better, a shot at a better way of life that's very real and tangible. It's not just, oh, this is good, but I kind of had a compromise here. That's out the window. It's all being given to us because we all gave to it. And what it is the cutting edge of reality. That's going to be going on for a while. That's just where we are. And so we have to be in touch with how we feel. Because how we feel is going to dictate the life we're living. And unless you are rooted in gratitude, if you're rooted in lack, if you're rooted in poverty mindset, it's an opportunity to grow from that, sure. But if you can make that conscious decision to start every day in gratitude and ground yourself in discipline, you're going to transform everything entirely. Not just for you now, but for you in contrast to who you've been. Growing up, I never had a home. Even as a young adult, I always slept on the floor. I had relatives, even when I lived with, other close relatives. And even when I had my own room for the first time, I think for the first year, I slept on the floor. Because I was so afraid of losing that place. I'm sorry, when I first got my own apartment, for like a full year I slept on the floor because I was like, this isn't gonna last. And I was so afraid of losing it that I didn't even buy furniture. I didn't even buy dishes. And God bless my coworkers, especially my mama Ruth. Like, she's a massage mentor, and she's just been such a. But I remember way back then, she came over and she was like, "Well, what do you need?" Because I had nothing. I had a recliner that somebody gave me, and I slept in that, and that was like okay. And then there was like 3 or 4 rooms in the house, But cycles come and go, and I let the wrong people in, and we're still friends now. But when you let the wrong energies in, and again, those energies from the past is what I struggle with. So if I see somebody from my past and they're struggling, my poverty mindset wants to link up with them and say, oh, I made it, I did good, you can too. That road isn't for everyone, that road is for you. And that was the big lesson from that chapter of my life. That was my last Saturn return. Like 7 or 8 year cycles. So that's when I say this Saturn, and now that Saturn's in Pisces, this is the next jump. It's like the next 7 years or so. And we have to focus deeply within how we feel. And if something don't feel right, don't put it on the back burner. Speak on it. Act on it. Somebody's staying with you, or somebody's like trying to stay with you, and they've done nothing, it's time for them to move on. Can't save them all. That's something I used to always say to my friend. You can't save them all, Charles. I don't know if you guys watch X-Men. I'm really trying not to go on tangents. So with that, the last little bit of energy, I just want to say this last little bit of this Capricorn full moon is really watch what's brewing in your mind. Because when we are afraid to move forward, we're usually fear is such a hormonal thing, And when fear is triggered, it doesn't have to be in a way that is life-threatening. It can be, I'm afraid to put myself out there. Currently working on an idea, and fear has me about 4 years behind. because again, I'm understanding myself, I'm growing. But again, there's nothing that I haven't done that's not within my own cosmic timing, and nothing you do will ever be outside of your cosmic timing. But we'll hold a magnifying glass over that fear, and it looks so huge under that magnifying glass. But there's two ways to look at that. The obvious one is the fear is small and you should just move past it, like just jump in. But the other thing is you were brave enough to examine it with that magnifying glass before it freaked you out. So that's a reason to be grateful. At least I put myself out there enough to see and know. And knowing is half the battle. I love that. Knowing is half the battle. The other thing is, now that you know, is you have to move beyond it. You have to put that magnifying glass down and stop analyzing that fear. And I say you, but I also mean me. Put the magnifying glass down. Now that you know, you can move past it. That's what this full moon is really encompassing for us. Capricorn energy it's very, like I said, I'm very ambitious. But it's over a long period of time that it appears like I'm doing nothing. Even to myself. Because I live such a, I don't want to say hedonistic, but I live for me. And by extension, the things that make me happy, you know, like my partner, my pets, my family, my work, my clients, my coworkers, by extension, I live for them, and I live for that. But again, it's like I had to get on the other side. I had to put my own magnifying glass down on my past, on people who shot me down. You know, there's voices that will manifest in your head from people who told you you were never going to amount to anything. And you have to remember those are just voices. Those people don't exist. Those words don't exist. Because they've changed. And you've changed. But those words are still cycling. Alright, that's pretty much where I think I'll end it today. And I am motivated to make these videos again, and I've gotten all of my grounding and stuff back, and my hormones and everything. I had to balance a lot of things, so it hasn't been a light stream in quite a while, like a full-blown light stream. I want to just pull a card from both of my decks. It's completely random. I'll take it from the top. Queen of Cups. And she's holding a bunch of fish. How amazing that we were just talking about this. Deep emotional well-being, groundedness. When I said life is a woman and you have to create a space for her, this is the energy that I'm talking about. Let her dance, let her thrive, let her watch her favorite shows, and let her drink from that cup. Because life is all around her. And I'm not talking about a specific person, I'm talking about you, the divine feminine within. Create a space for it by showing up for yourself with that fatherly energy. And Capricorn will allow for that. It's Capricorn placement, Capricorn and Pluto, Capricorn full moon, and Saturn, the ruling planet for Capricorn, in Pisces. Is setting up for the true foundation of your next chapter of your life. The next 3 or 4 years are going to be profoundly affected by how you feel. So guard it, protect it, you're worth it. All right, you guys, this is where I peace out. And I will be back soon-ish. can't see.